Hi there, thanks for tuning in. Today I want to talk about 5 maybe lesser known or lesser used investment research tools that can really help you take your research to the next level. These tools are especially great for stocks and bonds traders, especially if you're focused on macroeconomics, but at the same time, real estate investors, commodity investors, and more will find a lot here. My hope is that at least one of these resources is something that you find useful and want to dwell further into, and that would be great. So let's not delay this any further. Let's hop into the very first research tool, which is credit rating agencies. I'm talking about Moody's, Fitch, Standard & Poor's, and I guess to a lesser extent Morningstar. Any bond investor will know exactly what they do. Essentially, these agencies are there to rate the credit worthiness and the ability to pay back the debts in due time of countries and companies. These agencies rate basically every country in the world for their trustworthiness when it comes to paying back bonds, and governments actually care about the credit ratings. This shows the sheer level of influence that these credit rating agencies have, so it's important to pay attention to them, and most importantly, it's important to pay attention to the trends that are going on when it comes to the credit worthiness of a country or a company. Say a company has a not so great credit rating, but the trend overall has been that its credit rating has been getting consistently upgraded. Well, they could be showing a lot of promise in the future because they have been able to meet their obligations, at least in recent time. Or maybe there's a country that is trending down in terms of their credit worthiness and has been getting downgrades by most of these firms. Well, that can give you a fair warning before you invest into bond stocks or other investments based in this country. These firms have different rating systems, so it's important to know that they're not going to look exactly the same, nor are they always going to agree with each other. However, finding the credit rating of a given country or company should be a fairly quick thing and can actually give you a lot of insight into what's going on. That's especially because basically every country and every major company has some form of debt right now, so it's important to see how they can pay back their obligations. And if you go into, for example, Moody's website, you can actually type the name of a company and you'll see a little write-up on it as well as a given rating. This is great and can reinforce the insight you have into a given company or a given country's economy. Okay, number 2 now, which is the IMF, which stands for the International Monetary Fund. The IMF is a global organization which works to foster financial stability, global trade, and cooperation. They provide loans and assistance to other countries as well as doing a ton of research on certain economies. So the really cool thing is that they have a lot of data that is completely publicly available. There's a lot of really awesome data visualizations as well as research and working papers that they write up very regularly, which could be of great interest to you. If you make an account on their website as well, you can subscribe to get alerts in your email for specific countries every time a new paper is released. This means that you can be updated with what the IMF believes is the economic situation of given countries at any time. Now, the IMF mainly works with developing economies, so if you want to research a country like, for example, Luxembourg, well, you're not going to have many updated papers very often. However, countries that have a lot of interaction with the IMF may have a lot of papers being written about them, since there's always something newsworthy or something that the IMF is actually working on hands-on. So I find it just a great way to get up-to-date data with economic estimations as well as up-to-date papers. The next two have a very similar thing going on. The first of which is the World Trade Organization. What they do is pretty straightforward. They're fostering international trade and removing barriers to trade. And they're also an international organization that has a lot of data available that is completely free and completely public on their website. What is cool about the data provided by the World Trade Organization is that you can spot a lot of industry trends just by seeing what trade looks like around it. And they also have quite a few write-ups. For example, if you're someone who's interested in trading oil, well, the World Trade Organization can tell you a lot about what the trade of oil has been looking like overseas for a very long time. And that data will be crucial to predict future trends or to know what to expect. Plus, the creation of new international trade treaties is something that is worth looking upon, especially if it benefits certain countries or companies a lot. The fourth item in this list is also very similar. It's actually the World Bank. The World Bank's mission is very clear. It's to fight poverty and reduce extreme poverty out there in the world. This is a fantastic mission, and what you can expect from them is a little more tailored towards that. But they also have a ton of data a ton of papers and a lot to really sink your teeth into if you want to go in there. If you want to research developing economies in particular, this could be a great place to start, or even discover developing economies that maybe you hadn't had your attention on. Likewise, if you're an entrepreneur who is targeting people with maybe lower incomes, well, the World Bank has a lot of great resources for you, and there's a lot to find out and learn through their website. And last but not least is a given country's central bank. For example, in the US, you have the Federal Reserve, which controls interest rates and controls how they're printing money or at what speed they're printing money. But many other countries have particular central banks which control this as well. These central banks often give economic updates, economic estimations, and they can really tell you what the overall sentiment is when it comes to the economy of a given country. Now, what's important with these conferences is sometimes to read a little bit between the lines. Not all central banks are the most transparent, and obviously they don't want an economy that is full of distrust, but they also don't want an economy that's way too hot. So they're never going to paint a fully rosy picture, but they're also never going to paint a truly grim picture. So it's important to read a little bit between the lines and see what you can pull out of those conferences yourself. However, if you want metrics and estimations, reading central bank transcripts and seeing their moves, such as, for example, raising or lowering interest rates, and seeing if this is reciprocated by other countries in their region or in the world, is very important, because it will give you an idea of what the current investment environment is like. This will help you plan your investments not only right now, but many years ahead, since you're knowing sort of what to expect. And combining a lot of these resources, you'll have an understanding that is honestly a lot more worldly and a lot more complete than most people out there. So in a way, it's just fun to consult a lot of these resources and have some general knowledge that a lot of people may simply not have. Those are the investment resources I have for today, but if you know of any other companies or organizations that have good data or good research, well, I would love for you to comment that so everyone can know and I can look into it. And before I go, if you're interested in investing in the stock market, I could highly recommend you use Webull as your broker. Webull is a great and very flexible broker which lets you trade stocks and even cryptocurrencies with no commission whatsoever. And they have a promotion going on right now where if you deposit at least $100, then you'll get 2 free stocks in your account. There's a link down in the description if you're interested in this. So if you like this video, or if you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and let me know what you want to see. I'll be responding to every single comment, and I'll be happy to make more videos like this. So with that said, I thank you so much for watching again, and have a great rest of your day.